Alright guys, yesterday Luke and I, the guy behind the camera, and I took the giveaway gasser down Woodward Avenue. It was cool, all the looks we got, the thumbs up and everything, because I don't know if they just love this car or they love the guy driving the car. I'm not sure which it is, but no, I actually think everybody thought it was cool. We may or may not have did a traffic light to traffic light against a few cars, and man, this thing will hook and book. Weight transfer's already set in, so get over to the website, buy your merch so you can win this car, because it is iconic and it is such a cool cruiser. Now, while we're talking about that though, is Death Week. Death Week, it's full steam ahead. So there's a video, a promo video that's out for Death Week. You got to make sure you see that. That'll appear somewhere in this video. But literally the most epic road trip that there could be. I mean, it is somewhere between Mad Max and Family Vacation. How do those two intertwine? I don't know. But like in my mind, when we've dreamt it up and like when we've looked at the stuff and see where we're going, I'm not sure which one it's going to be. I think the Mad Max part of it is we're going to take cars like this, or Aiden's car, or the AFX. I'm not sure what we're going to take there, but we're going to take vehicles like that, which kind of gives it the Mad Max look. But now it is literally Family Vacation. Everything short of hopefully Grandma being on the roof as we drive down the road. But like cruiser, we're starting in Phoenix. So the Firebird, not sure what the drag strip's called right now, but like Phoenix. So we're going to be in Phoenix, and we make a road trip along the Mexican border the whole way to get to San Diego. And little drag strip, I've never been there, but Barona drag strip, little drag strip, everybody has real good things to say about it, and we're gonna race there. But the journey there, I'm not sure where we're gonna stop. People put ideas out there. If you have ideas for it, because that one we probably have the least thought pattern it's gone into where we're gonna stop, because literally we're bordering on the Mexican border the whole way on that route. But then we're going to jump up from Barona. We're making the drive up along Pacific Coast Highway from San Diego through LA. The goal is to get up to Santa Barbara. Pacific Coast Highway, I have driven that highway in different rental cars and stuff that I've had out there, and I've always dreamt of how cool it would be running with a group. 125 cars is what's going to be at this event. So it's a very small event compared to the other stuff we do. But cruising along the coastline with cars like this, with lots of people looking at us like I don't know if, well, to go back to the Woodward Drive, are we going to get the same looks we got on Woodward Avenue last night, where everybody thinks everything's cool? Or are we going to get a bunch of nose puckers and like, I don't even know what signs they make in California when they don't like something. But what is that going to be like? But the times when I've driven it, I've just thought how cool it would be to run this along there with a big group of friends. And literally that's what we're doing. We're going to run across there, run up to LA area, go Santa Barbara. Like, I mean, I don't know. That to me, that seems soap opera-ish. Like, I've been to the town, super cool town, but like, oh, you know what? There's also what's the Muscle Beach in California, Lukey? Venice Beach. So I'm sure Venice Beach has to be somewhere along our way. So like, and we've gone there and walked that area. Such a cool area. There are so many iconic, cool stops that we're going to do along that route to go Pacific Coast Highway, and then somewhere along the line we're going to jump inland. And we got to go inland, and the goal is probably around Fresno. We'll stay for the night because we got to get up in the morning and drive the Sequoia Forest. So we're going to drive through the Sequoia Forest. Amazing adventure that I've been on. One time when I was in Vegas, we drove out there and did Sequoia Forest. Like, it is, I mean, don't even know, trees as big as the car, like bigger than the car, like it, amazing adventure, like through there and then down to the famous, everybody's heard of Bakersfield. So we're going to race at Bakersfield Dragway that evening. So I guess Phoenix in the morning, Barona will be an evening race, afternoon, evening. Same thing, a couple days of driving, and then we're going to be at the Bakersfield. We're going to race there at night. Next day is our Death Valley day. So we're going to cruise through Death Valley and all the way into Vegas. The NHRA race is going on while we're going there, so goal is stop at the NHRA race or see it, but at least we're going to drive the Las Vegas Strip, because once again, like, the things when you just say, well, why hasn't anybody done that? Like, this is how many cool things can we do with cars that probably shouldn't go do it, or they did it in the 60s, but like, it's kind of reviving that, well, I mean, this brings you that two-lane blacktop type feel, but like that cruising the coastline, like doing all kinds of cool stuff with cars that was normal in the 60s, but now it hasn't been done. So we are recreating this for this one event. We're only doing it once, and how many bucket list items can we pick off? So get back to where I was at. So we cruise in Vegas, we got the Las Vegas Strip, and we're hanging out in Vegas. Then the next day we're gonna get up and we're gonna drive through the Grand Canyon. So I'm sure we're gonna cross the, what's the big dam over? The Hoover Dam. We're probably gonna cross the Hoover Dam. Not sure the route yet on that one, but for sure we're hitting the Grand Canyon, hit highlights of the Grand Canyon. It'd be cool if we can hit that glass bridge or whatever. I've never been there. That one I've only seen pictures of, where it's way out over the Grand Canyon and you can see right through it. That would be epic if we go across that bridge, or we're walking across that bridge. I'm sure it's a pedestrian bridge. But then continue our drive through the Grand Canyon, and we're going to jump back down and end back in Phoenix. Like 2,000 miles. It's 2,000 plus miles without some of the stops. Like literally the most epic road trip that could ever be imagined is happening. And we're only doing it once. And then, hey, next year, like if everything goes well and everybody has a good time, like who knows what next year will be, but it'll be some other epic adventure. And there's so many people, like I'll call out Joe Barry. Joe Barry told me last week when he was here for Roadkill, he said, like, I've always wanted to do a lot of the stuff you're talking about, but I never go do it because I don't necessarily have the reason that makes me go do it. So he said he's gonna do Death Week because he'll get to see all the things that he wants to see, but it almost forces him to go see them. He said normally, like a lot of us, it's like literally if I have to go from here to there, I'm gonna take the shortest route. No matter what, if the other path might be a lot more scenic and a lot more pretty, it's always lack of time. So now I gotta take the direct route. Now we are taking the path less taken. So and we are going along this journey to go visit all these things that literally it'll be the only time that I go see these things in my lifetime, I'm sure, because I won't, unless I have some other reason to go back. But like, and that's if you're like me and you're like Joe Barry and you're like a lot of the rest of us, like we want to do cool stuff in our cars. Like that's what we want to do. Like just going and seeing it like as a normal tourist, not for me, not for a lot of people. So we are going to do it in fashion. And when I say fashion, low buck fashion, because we're taking cars that are uncomfortable, that are hot, that are probably too fast to be on those roads, and probably not even legal in California. The good thing is, registered in Michigan. So you know what? I can drive my Michigan car out there. I don't think you can kick me out at this point in time, but we'll wait and see. Now, if you got a car like this and you have a California license plate in it, good luck. But I can tell you my Michigan plate should hopefully be a free pass there that I can kind of hang out and do what I want to do, and they're not going to sniff my pipe or anything like that. I can do what I want to do. So that's what we're counting on, and that's what we're doing. So Death Week, it's a go. One, done. Know that if you don't do it now, you will never do it, because we're not doing it again. Dream it up for yourself.
In the last 24 hours, we have seen facilities now being created for the greatest and most complex exploration in man's history, carrying all the equipment needed for propulsion, guidance, control, communications, food, and survival on an untried mission, generating power equivalents to 10,000 automobiles with their accelerator on the floor. And therefore, as we set sail, we ask God's blessing on the most hazardous and dangerous and greatest adventure on which man has ever embarked. This country of the United States was not built by those who waited and rested. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win. And it is one of the great adventures of all time.
Thanks for watching, guys. And you know what? Now we're going to give you some updates from Roadkill and the Durango and where we're at and stuff we got to change to get it ready. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe to the channel. All right, guys, we are back at the shop. Durango's back in the shop after Roadkill. So we had some stuff with Roadkill where we got it started. We took it to the dyno, and that's where the converter was not engaged all the way into the pump in the trans. It literally a roll over the pump. There's a couple teeth in there. I can't even show you on the trans, but a couple teeth in there where the converter engages to spin the pump. It spun over that, and then it basically crushed the pump into the transmission. So broke that, bunch of debris through there. EJ did a road trip yesterday, took it down to Rosler, had them go through it. They tore the pump apart, put a new pump in it, but basically there was some debris and everything all throughout the trans, so they cleaned it all out, put it all back together. We're waiting for the converter to come back because there was actually a part that was machined wrong in the converter that we had second guesses when we even put it together, right, Bobby? Yes. Bob is one word answers today. Yes. Yeah. When the converter slides in, it slides in, and there are there's two nubs in there which you won't be able to see, but that's what the converter has. Has those rings that go in, and then that's what spins the pump, and then you separate it out to make sure that there's some play in there for the fluid travel. Well, what happened is when we separated it out to have fluid travel, we basically were barely engaged onto that pump, and what happens, like on the third or fourth dyno pull, it actually, there was enough power there and enough load on the back end that it caused it to just jump those teeth and get on top of it. And when it did, it just pressed into the back of it and crushed that pump into the trans, destroyed the pump, and that was the end of it. So we ended up on a last minute deal taking the converter and the trans out of 2.0, which 1800 horse blown or Whipple charged Hemi versus 5,000 horse turbocharged big block. Two completely different deals, a 5,000 horse deal versus an 1,800 horse deal, turbos versus supercharged. I mean, two completely different applications for the way the converter's set up, also the way the trans is set up. I mean, this has got a 210 first gear to where what's in there right now is a 186 is what we run into run with 2.0. So on the first hit, as you saw like at Roadkill, I thought it was spinning the tires, it was going so slow, but basically it was just the fact that it didn't have enough power to spin that first gear along with the tires that are there. So basically it just logged down the transmission. We worked on loosening up line pressure and stuff that you can do to manipulate manipulating the transmission or the converter to being looser than it is by blowing off fluid. So basically less fluid in the converter relates to less power, but it also makes it easier to spin. So it takes less power to spin that. Not sure the best way to relate that, but there's all kind of converter videos out there you can go watch to see exactly how it manipulates fluid, because that's really all this is a hydraulic pump. It hydraulically is taking the power from the engine and getting it to the tires. Our goal is to take this to NMCA next weekend. So one of the other things we had is, in the rush to get all of this done, we didn't get the car on the ground or the truck on the ground to get it set up to go until basically the day of. So Bobby's back here making some different four-link bars, or probably already did, but are they already in too?
They're already done.
Already done and in. Bobby, what did you have to do to the four-link bars?
Well, they were too short once the car was fully adjusted, so I made them a little longer.
Which was the upper bars? Just the upper bars?
We just had stuff laying around, so I whipped them out.
Whipped them out?
Yeah, it only took like 5 minutes or
5
something.
minutes, yep. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. So now I'm just making, extending the little fender piece here, because it's on that side you can see where there's a hole, and for the 2 times that you actually drove the car, it was filling up with rocks.
Which is right here?
All up in here, yeah. So it was just because I had no more time and didn't really know where the body was going to sit, so I only made that little upper piece that was kind of half-assed. But now I'm just filling it out, and we will seam seal all this crap so it's kind of watertight a little bit. And plus I put silicone right here at this tin in this bar, because it looked like a rock pile here. So trying to keep debris from piling up and staying in there.
The other is, which AFCO, hopefully we'll have those soon, but we didn't know the weight of the car or anything. So, I mean, everything was just a guess, as the normal setups are. But springs are way too tight, or way too, what would you say, too heavy?
Too
stiff in the back. So so we have lighter springs coming, because one thing, when the car was on the ground, like literally you were not getting any squat out of the car, because the springs are heavy enough that preventing it from wanting to set the car down the way it needs to plant the tire. So we got lighter springs coming for that. And when we got back here, we actually have scales at the shop, but we never scaled anything prior to. But Aiden and Bobby scaled it, and what did the truck weigh?
3,300.
Like almost exactly.
Almost exactly 3,300.
With no driver.
No driver, so then it went to like 36.
3,300. So
30.
I weigh 120 pounds.
Yes.
And no back fuel tank.
And no rear fuel cell.
If we cut you in half, there you go.
So 3,300 pounds. So this went from, it's got to weigh over 5,000
Oh,
pounds.
hell yes.
So 5,000 pounds from the factory. So you buy a new Durango, probably plus 5,000 pounds. Someone will comment with the right amount. So I could go look at my Durango and see what it says that it weighs. But let's just say 5,000 plus pounds to 3,300 pounds is where it's at right now. Aiden, what's your car weigh without you in it, or with you in it, is what?
3,350.
3,350. So, and Aiden weighs 82 pounds. So,
Dude, look at those legs. Them things are like toothpicks. I can't believe they don't break when he walks.
but so probably about 100 pounds heavier than the deuce box is where we're at with it. So, because Aiden's probably $160, $170, something like that. So, so about 100 pounds more, a lot more. It still has all the factory glass in it, which we will be converting to Lexan at some point in time. Right now, we're trying to get a Lexan back window. Because Bob wants to put the parachutes. This whole area back here is dead weight, so behind the vehicle. So like normally like 2.0 or whatever, you'll see a spoiler come off, a little chin spoiler. Well, the chutes have to get into the airstream because this is all dead. So if chutes launch back here, they will never deploy because there's no air to catch them. Believe it or not, it is just a dead space. Like if the air launchers are not turned on in 2.0 and I throw the chutes, they they don't deploy, and then they're laying tangled in the wheelie bars at the end of the run. So Bob wants to build a fancy cage here so we don't have to shoot them straight up in the air. Bob wants to shoot them out of the back window, right?
They will be mounted to right on the back window on the same angle as the window.
So will the hatch open and then the chutes will shoot out? A two-step?
No.
No.
You wanted to do that?
Oh, that'd be kind of
It
cool.
could
Like
take
that'd be
a
like a
minute.
Batman type deal or whatever. That
You might be in a sand trap by the time it all deploys and gets out and slows you down.
and then one thing fails.
Shit, I'm already in the sand.
One thing fails, and yeah, it's just all over with.
You have to start the launching mechanism when you let go of the transfer.
Yeah, exactly. It engages, like there's gears back. Oh, that clock thing that we saw at the tour. Like you could have that like clicking, so it knows how far, and
It's
then
got
up.
a timed delay
Exactly.
delay. Yeah,
Up,
mechanical delay.
It
to
automatically
shoot 'em out,
just
but-
launches 6 seconds
No.
after you let go of the trans brake.
No, that would be a terrible idea.
But so you got that. How much weight do you think it'll save Lexan over all the factory glass?
I'm hoping that we at least save at least 100.
Which, if we save that, we would be right to the weight of the deuce box, roughly. Because I mean, this is probably about 100 pounds heavier right now. All right, so on the second run, well, first run couldn't get out of its own way. Second run, it actually launched pretty well. But then it lost power, which I didn't know what was going on. Well, from the video, what happened is this was actually turned the other direction. They already reversed this lid. But on the second pass, and you probably won't be able to see it here, but like, it appeared as though it was latched. when we were looking at it from this direction, I mean, here you can kind of see it's not, but what happened is it flipped up when I launched with it. The water got on the belt and then it slipped the belt, so then that's why the boost was lost. Now, in hindsight, like that happening was also good because I forgot to turn on the intercooler pump, and with the boost level that it was at, I mean, I think we're 24, 25 pounds, but even with that boost level with no intercooler and no cooling in the intercooler, intake air temperatures would have been huge, which would have had the ability to melt stuff down. So good thing is by slipping the belt, kind of saved the whole deal there with that, but have to learn to not make that mistake in the future. We do have it on E85. I guess the other thing too is we will still put the screw blower on this at some point in time. So Bobby, how many combinations of engine do we have stuff to go in here?
3. There's super lame dick right there. We have the bad mofo that's at Steve's. We have this one that's halfway badass. So 3 combos right now.
The other hood with the big cutout that Bobby did for the screw blower, that's there. We got the intake is partially machined that would fit on this one to put the screw blower on this one. I mean, it's just a Gen 3 Hemi, so it should, well, as we know from our little bit of experience now, all Gen 3 Hemis are not created equals. There's some things change from block to block in edition, whether it's a 6.2 or whether it was a red eye or whatever combination that it was. So that's that part of it, but we are going to keep this on here for now and see what we can do with it there. And then the current goal is we sort the bugs out with it and then take it to drag week and then see what it does on drag week. Go get some merch, you win the gasser. So every $5 gets you an entry to the gasser. Spend $100, you get 20 bonus entries. So lots of new merch coming in, lots of cool stuff there for everybody, and you can get the giveaway gasser. We cruised at Woodward last night, and it is just a cool car. It gets tons of people watching it. So like instantly you will be Bobby Miller famous as soon as you drive that. So sad. So sad to be Bobby Miller famous. Bobby's tired of signing autographs. Give him a break when you see him, because he's like, man, I got carpal tunnel from signing all these autographs. Sore fingertips. Wait, that's from a whole different thing probably. So. There you go, guys. We'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.